Cardinals coming to the plate. We talked a little bit about Bree Despines and Madison Pickens, and you see Madison Pickens 10 RBIs this past weekend. But sandwiched in between them, Joanna, is also a player, Cameron Lookadu, that you got to tip your cap to.
Well, Lookadu has been on an unprecedented streak. She is just racking up the doubles. But really, the power of this offense comes in their ability to pass the bat. You can pick someone any given game that's been stepping up and giving opportunities for this Cardinals team, and it just makes it very hard when you're on the other end of that.
First pitch into Chelsea Mack, in for a strike. The senior from Brecksville, Ohio. Sitting at a .453 batting average and a .592 in the leadoff spot. Not too shabby. We've seen a lot of teams defensively go on and do the shift. Kentucky is not employing that shift there as the bunt is pulled back, but it's in for a strike. So 0-2, Mack behind in the count. Getting the start in the circle, the real freshman from Texas, Haley Nutter. First pitcher in UK history to throw 2 no-hitters as a freshman. Obviously coming into the SEC, making a statement for her squad.
I was really excited to see Nutter getting the start today and be able to see her live. She came in with such a blazing start to her freshman campaign. Had an injury, took several weeks off, now just working back from that. I thought she had some real bright spots against Alabama this last weekend, but she has a rise ball, curve ball, drop ball, change up, right? A little bit of everything. High velocity, she's gonna be in the upper 60s. Had those 2 no-hitters in February. Just really fun to watch her develop and come through that injury. You're gonna see more rise ball than anything, but she can challenge in a variety of ways, especially that vertical separation. You know, the rise ball to drop ball, it's very difficult as a hitter to pick both.
Well, she keeps that one low in the zone, but it is outside. So evened up the count 2-2 to Chelsea Mack. Swing and a miss there. And that is a player that does not strike out very often as Chelsea Mack is retired. And give some words of wisdom to Easton Lotus on deck.
Yep, that's a really rare strikeout, and you see that she is just set up beautifully. Nutter working top and bottom of the zone and then chooses to go outside. Mack not able to make an adjustment on that. Nutter getting the first out of the inning.
Only the 6th strikeout for Chelsea Mack in her 160 at-bats.
And Mack usually doesn't go that deep in the count. She's racked up 10 walks in the last 10 games, and that's a third of her walks all year. I actually think it's half. I mean, she's a much more aggressive early in the count hitter, so you don't see her in either of those scenarios very often.
Catching the outside part of the plate, and Nutter continues to work ahead on these Louisville batters. 0-2 now to Easton Lotus, the redshirt senior from New Lenox, Illinois. Second at .368 average. Chopping that foul. Slowed down a little bit there by Holly April. She couldn't help herself.
So hard. You just want to play, right?
Right?
Give her a glove.
She would love that.
She would.
She would for sure love that. Both these head coaches would love that.
They both would.
Teammates, battery back in their heydays, glory days at UMass. Off the outside part of the plate. 1-2 the count to Lotus. Lotus earlier this season had a 40-game reach streak, stands alone atop the Louisville record books with that reach consecutive streak. Just missing.
One of her greatest strengths at the plate is her eye. She does a great job of ensuring her pitch selection, gives herself something to work with. And we've seen her hit walk-offs with 2 strikes, just very keen plate awareness.
The 2-2 to Lotus is upstairs. Now full count. Lotus able to see a lot of pitches here. This was a pitcher that Louisville did not face their first meeting a month ago. Payoff pitch. Sent foul. Maybe off the foot of Lotus as well.
And that's why these first two at-bats are extremely important. We saw Mac and now seeing Lotus go deep in the count. That's so beneficial for Bree Despines, who's in the on-deck circle, and the rest of her team as they watch, just learning, getting that information, being able to add it to the bank so that you know what you might see when you face Nutter in the batter's box.
This will be into the bullpen of Louisville and out of play. Ella Emmert behind the dish for the Cats, catching Haley Nutter. Another payoff pitch here coming to Easton Lotus. Sent up the middle. She'll find the gap up the middle, and Lotus coming back. Full count, gets on board with a single.
And Lotus is just so patient. She has such great bat control. You can see how tight she keeps her approach in the batter's box, really allowing the barrel of her bat to do the work, giving herself an opportunity with her speed, and that's a base hit all day long, but just has so many tools.
Another player with a lot of tools, Bree Despines, the senior from Creve Coeur, Illinois. Transferred after her sophomore season from Kent State. Was part of the All-MAC second team there. All-freshman team in 2023. That Grand Slam versus Pitt. All three of those games coming in early. Big swing there for Despines. Swinging for the fences on that one. Started to say all three of those games against Pitt, Louisville was able to end early in 5 innings via the run rule. The 1-1 to Despines, flashes the bunt, pulls it back. Nothing doing. Looking around the rest of the diamond defensively, Emery Donaldson at third base, local Louisville product. Maddie Clark at short, Allie Blum at second, Carissa Hamilton playing first base. 2-1 to Despines, another chopper up the middle, and unable to corral that ball is Blum, and Lotus under the tag in time, and Bree Despines, such smart base running, that trail runner, able to advance an additional 60 feet. Louisville with 2 in scoring position early.
Yeah, really heads up base running from both base runners. Lotus never hit the brakes. She was going from the second she realized that ball was through. And Despines, that rare speed from the catcher's position.
Yeah.
She has the ability to change the game with her feet as well as her bat. And this is one of the problems that Kentucky has had so far this year is their fielding percentage. This ball just gets away from the defense and puts Louisville in a position to score now, runners aboard, and less than 2 outs. So Kentucky uncharacteristic with some of the fielding errors that they've had this year. Generally a very sure-handed team.
So a scorching ball to Allie Blum is ruled a single. Another single up the middle for Bree Despines. That'll bring Cameron Lookadoo to the plate, the junior from Georgetown, Kentucky. Didn't get to finish the defensive lineup for the Cats. It's Oni, Riddell, and Plotz left to right in the outfield defensively for the Cats. So Lookadoo at the plate. That's upstairs. Lookadoo a .402 batting average on the season. Does have a .415 batting average with runners in scoring position. It's 48 RBIs to her credit so far this season. High and inside. 2-0 the count to Lookadoo. One thing that we didn't get to mention about Chelsea Mack, you know, both Mack and Lookadoo transferring after their freshman year from the University of Kentucky. 2-0 swung on, fouled off the back net. Emmert there collecting the ball.
This sport often is touted as being process driven. It's something we hear coaches talk about all the time, athletes talk about all the time, but when you look at the changes that Mac and Luckadoo have just developed throughout their career, it's truly a testament of continuing to get better.
Waves through that pitch, evens up the count 2-2.
Yeah, great change up there from Nutter, really being able to full Luckadoo on that one, and same process for Nutter. You know, when she goes deep into count, she needs to give some different ideas to these hitters, and did so with that change of speed.
Getting high and inside. Making this full count. It's Cameron Luckadoo. Second in the ACC with 19 doubles, but she gets the free pass there to juice the bases for the Cards. So after a strong start for Haley Nutter, striking out Chelsea Mack, 2 singles up the middle and a walk. The base paths are full, bringing Madison Pickens, the RBI leader of this squad, 62 on the season, to the plate. Swings on this into left field. And coming all the way to home, not in time. Despinese crosses, and with that passed ball, as will Luckadoo. Madison Pickens firing up her dugout.
Well, offensively, Louisville just has so many weapons, and you look at this scenario for Nutter, it's who do you want to throw to? And when you have people earning their way on, with a walk or whatever it might be, it brings Pickens into a scenario where you have nowhere to put her. And so you're going to get a lot of plate on that pitch. She takes advantage of it, flares the ball out to left field, able to plate 3 runs here in the first, and Louisville once again out to a hot start.
It's Jordan Williams. And again, Haley Nutter not out of the weeds yet. Jordan Williams with another hot bat. I mean, the Cards, it's just one after the other after the other. Williams with a .376 batting average. Fans on this off speed, tips it off.
Yeah, another great pitch there from Nutter, and she'll just need to continue to do that, throw that back to back, whatever it might be, just to try to change that perception from these Louisville hitters. And for Louisville, it's been a year of why not? I mean, it just seems like they can do anything. And sometimes there is a lot of power in that. That belief is really strong. They talk about passing the bat, and they've just had so many times when they've converted, you just start to believe anything's possible.
A question there on what the count is. William Gamalik confirming it is 0-2. And third strike, but on that passed ball past Donaldson, that'll score Madison Pickens. So 2 outs now, but another run scores. It's Louisville 4, Cats nothing.
Yeah, you don't blame Ella Emmert there behind the plate for Kentucky, taking a chance, trying to get this pickoff. Just gets away from her and her third baseman. Donaldson not able to corral that, and you're trying to get an out any way you can, and that's when you go back to the ball through the infield. Hit or air, it doesn't matter. If you're Kentucky, you've got to convert that into an out. You have to take away hits from this Louisville team, and that's what they haven't been able to do yet in this first inning.
So 2 outs here for the Cats, both of those strikeouts for Haley Nutter. It's Taylor Monroe now, the sophomore from Spencer, Indiana, at the plate. In and on the hands, fouls this one off. And Nutter doing a really good job getting ahead in the count early on every single batter that she's faced so far for the Cards, other than Cameron Luckadoo.
Right, and I think part of it is Nutter continuing to work her way back into that preseason form. That is a tough task. She spent some time out, a foot injury. I don't care who you are, those never fully heal in season. You've got the difficulty of pitchers with feet anyway and a spike, and if you've ever experienced that, it's hard. And so you're asking her to come back from that, and she's going to have to continue working through it. But I do think she's a big bright spot for Kentucky and will bring a lot to this program.
Nice stretch there by Emmert behind the plate, hollering a few words of encouragement to her infield. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Taylor Monroe. Monroe sitting at a .320 average coming into tonight's game. The off speed is upstairs. Monroe went 2 for 5 in the first meeting with 3 RBIs against Kentucky. Again, that was back on March the 25th. Come from behind win in extras for the Cards. And this will find the 3-4 gap into right field. And Taylor Monroe aboard with a single.
And Louisville continuing just to chip away. And sometimes you get up, there's 2 outs, you've cleared the bases, you've scored your runs. It can be a cash out at bat. Great job from Monroe, staying in that at bat, finding a way to work a pitch to the opposite field, restarting a potential rally here for her team.
That'll bring the designated player, Ava Venturelli, to the plate. Venturelli with 28 starts in her 39 games played, does have 3 home runs. Junior from Taunton, Mass. Nominee for the Massachusetts Gatorade Player of the Year back in high school. Venturelli sitting at a 237, pardon me, batting average. High and outside. 2-0 the count to Venturelli.
And this has been a lineup position that's been pretty fluid for Louisville. Everything else has really fallen into place, but this DP position with Thatcher, Venturelli trying to create some opportunities here, it's been probably the biggest question mark for this offense so far in 26.
Venturelli with a few more of those nods as of late, getting in the starting lineup, but we've seen Katie Thatcher quite a bit in that pinch hitting capacity as well. She's usually the first one off the bench if she doesn't get the start in that pinch hitting capacity. 3-0 the count to the DP, Venturelli, and a 4-ball walk will put her aboard. 2 on again for the Cards here, bringing Riley Janda to the plate, and that'll bring out head coach Rachel Lawson. And we're going to make a change here in the circle. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll tell you about another true freshman. It's going to be Abby Hammond coming into the circle for the Cats. Well, it's the true freshman from Lexington, Kentucky, the 2-time Kentucky Gatorade Player of the Year, 22 and 24. It's Abby Hammond.
Well, and for Abby Hammond, this is someone who's gotten a lot more innings than initially thought. She's going to roll ground balls. I have been so impressed with her this season, really picking up a lot of slack through the injury-riddled pitching staff. She just reminds me of a bulldog on the mound. She's someone who's going to attack hitters, really let that defense work, try to get herself out of this inning.
Definitely coming into a jam. Both Monroe, Venturelli, as this one's rolled over. Hang on. Call that a dead ball, so everyone will reset. As I was saying, Monroe and Venturelli on the base path. They will be credited to Haley Nutter should they score.
Yeah, I think you could see Emmert there asking, you know, Coach Lawson, hey, you might want to ask here. I didn't see anything. And so I think Coach Lawson coming out, she wants to know why the dead ball. You know, was it an off the foot? Was it what happened? I don't think that was seen by everyone.
So the umpire crew going to have a quick huddle here as Rachel Lawson continues to plead her case to third base umpire Larry McCullough. Home plate umpire, it's William Gamalik. And at first base, Jeremy Morrison rounds out the umpire crew. So a quick little huddle. It was third base umpire Larry McCullough that called that. So Rachel Lawson definitely wants some clarification here as Gamalik.
Well, and the problem is that the play's been called dead.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no, it's a, you can't, that's why more often than not, you want to let those play out, and it's, you know, just something that, you know, is seen or not seen or whatever it might have been, but we're going to reset here and go again, 1-1 count.
So the 1-1 to Riley Janda, the sophomore from Greenwood, Indiana, part of that stellar sophomore class for the Cards. The 1-1 is upstairs. Talked about Hammond being the Kentucky Gatorade Player of the Year in 22 and 24. Well, the Kentucky Gatorade Player of the Year in 23 was actually a pitcher from Louisville, Brooke Gray. So some standout talent staying in their home states.
Little fun fact.
Yeah. The 3-1 to Janda swung on and fouled off. So full count now here. The payoff pitch to Janda. On the outside part of the plate, so once again, bases are loaded, and that's going to turn the lineup over for the Cards, bringing Chelsea Mack back to the plate.
Let's see how Kentucky defense chooses to line up here with bases loaded and 2 outs with Mack. Her speed is so often her greatest weapon. It changes a little bit when you have bases loaded because you have other out opportunities, but Louisville has speed all around. Great changeup to get started from Abby Hammond.
You mentioned it, the speed. This is a team, this Cardinals team comes in collectively with 105 stolen bases on the season. So that delivery is inside to Mack, 1-1 the count. Lays off that off speed.
Good opportunity here for Mack as that count rolls back into her favor. So really trying to decide what ball can she control, whether it's the location, the pace, you know, make it work for your entire situation.
That catches the outside part of the plate. And honestly, I don't know if I've ever seen Chelsea Mack react to a pitch before. And she might
have had a reason.
Yeah?
She might have had a reason.
She shot a look to her dugout for certain. The 2-2 to Mack. In and on the hands, fouls that one off.
Yeah, look, nobody's going to get all the calls right. You know, I would
100%.
I would encourage anybody sitting in that grandstand that wants to take a shot, go ahead and register online, get yourself a little umpire gear and show up somewhere and give it a shot. It's a tough job, right? But there's a lot riding on recognition of balls and strikes.
Yeah, I'm going to politely decline on that offering. That's very kind of you, but I prefer our vantage point, Joanna.
I'm with you. It always amazes me, though, when you get someone that's, 18 rows up in the corner. Oh, come on. Like, it's...
Oh. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Full count here to Chelsea Mack. Bases are loaded, 2 outs. In and on the hands, a little bloop into the outfield, and that's Riddell making that grab in left field. Louisville, 4 runs on 4 hits. They lead heading into the second.
It was a hit parade for Louisville, finding a way to plate several runners through the first. 4 runs on 4 hits. The Cardinals stay hot. Kentucky will look to cool them off as they come to bat in the top of the second after this.
At the top of the second inning here on ACC Network Extra. Suzanne Bush, Joanna Lane along for the ride today for the Battle of the Bluegrass. Alyssa Zabala, after a long pause, long bottom of the first there, comes back out to the circle to face Maddie Clark, the 4 spot for the Cats.
Well, Zabala definitely had a lot of time to collect her thoughts after that first inning from Louisville. Zabala faced the minimum, 3 batters and 11 pitches to get this one started, which is a big statement. That is one area Louisville pitching has struggled, is starting the game. So a very quick first inning, and she'll look to do the same here in the second.
Maddie Clark, a senior from Claremont, California, transferred from Oregon State after a pair of seasons there. Laying off that pitch upstairs. Clark has started all 50 games at shortstop, make that 51, including tonight's game. Does have 7 doubles on the season. She did register a hit in all 3 games versus Alabama this past weekend. A liner into the right-hand side under the glove of Cameron Luckadoo at first base, and Clark is aboard for the first hit for the Cats.
Clark attacking this pitch. It's a great one to hit, a lot of plate. She lets her barrel go directly to it. Drops that back knee, finds the gap to right field, and gets something going here for Kentucky with nobody out in the second.
That'll bring the senior from Flat Rock, Indiana, went to Shelbyville High School. Carissa Hamilton, the player that Joanna, you highlighted in the open in that batting lineup, batting order. It's really been the backbone, a good leader for this squad.
She definitely has, and she just brings a lot to the plate, literally and figuratively, for this team. Has the ability to do a lot of things athletically.
Janda thought twice. What a stretch there by Luckadoo. You saw Janda, she didn't have a chance at Clark at second. Had to fire over to first. Heads up play, she leads the ACC in putouts there, or assists, pardon me, at third base. We're gonna take a look here. I think Rachel Lawson wants that to be reviewed. Bang, bang play here by Janda.
She does. The ball got to Janda in a hurry. Just Lotus not able to get in time to second for covering the bag. 2 things to look at here. 1, does Luckadoo's foot stay on the base throughout the entire play, or is she pulled off of the base in that stretch? And then 2, the timing of the runner reaching the bag as opposed to the throw. So a couple different things to look at here for the umpires.
What a stretch there by Luckadoo, regardless of what this call ends up being. Luckadoo, brand new to the first base position. Clearly, Holly April wanted Luckadoo's bat in the lineup. So UK is challenging here that the call on the field, it was an out call. So Rachel Lawson called for that, just to clarify.
Looks like we're gonna get a look here. Some more information from the umpires as they return.
All eyes are on William Gamalik. So the call on the field of out will stand. So you get 2 reviews throughout the game. Rachel Lawson just challenged that. She will lose that review. If you get it right, you retain it.
And the language matters, right? When it stands, it just means, hey, we don't have enough. We don't have enough. We can't do anything here. Appreciate the timeliness of the review. They'll give one away for Louisville here. Base runner on a second, Maddie Clark.
That'll bring the sophomore from Mount Sterling, Kentucky, Reagan Oney, to the plate. Transferred from Troy after a season there. My apologies, I had not made the change in my book. This is a player that Rachel Lawson always wants to have in the batting order when she's in the circle. It's Abby Hammond. As we mentioned, the freshman from Lexington, Kentucky.
Well, if there's anyone that knows how to manage the two-way athlete, it's Rachel Lawson. You have to use a lot of pencils, and you need an extra eraser, Suzanne, if you're going to
And here I am in my pen,
that's right,
guys.
if you're going to keep
pen.
up with Coach Lawson and the DP Flex, you need erasers for sure. But she is most people's #1 phone call on the phone a friend. If you need an expert category in something, I'm pretty sure she would pick DP Flex. So using the ability to get some flexibility here with Hammond at the plate, and just very talented, both in the circle and at the dish.
And drills this into right center field. Christine Himes giving the wheel to Maddie Clark. As Clark will cross the plate, and the Cats get one back.
Yeah,
Abby Hammond, looking to help her own cause there.
Absolutely, another hard hit ball. And Kentucky hit the ball hard in the first, and it just happened to go right to people. So it's a couple more balls that are just hit with great velocity. This one right back up the middle. Finds the gap for the double bases, and Kentucky's starting to put something together here.
Now that'll bring Alexa Riddell to the plate, the freshman from St. Louis, Missouri. The off-speed kind of hung in the air for Taylor Monroe to make the grab.
Yeah, that's a great comeback pitch from Zabala, changing speeds, gets the aggressive Riddell there and able to induce that cheap little flare out. Great pitch from Zabala.
That'll bring the redshirt senior from Lexington, Kentucky, Ella Emmert, one of the 3 captains on this Cats team. It's been a 3-year captain. For the Cats. Just off the tip of the glove of Zabala. So now runners on the corners. That thing just hung in the air.
It did. That little flare off the bat of Emmert, just finding a no man's land really from Zabala. She couldn't get there, and it just died. Lotus very smartly does not try to make a play on Emmert, holds her position to bring first and third here. As Zabala wants just a minute.
A quick word with third baseman Riley Janda. So it's Emery Donaldson, junior from Louisville, Kentucky. Went to Ballard High School. High school teammate of Brooke Gray. We mentioned Brooke Gray earlier today, the lefty, the southpaw, part of the deep Louisville pitching staff. Those 2 state champions together at Ballard High School. 0-1 to Donaldson. Out of the zone, evens up the count 1-1.
Memory serves. Are you a Ballard grad, Suzanne? Aren't you a Ballard grad?
Ding, ding, ding.
Pretty
sure was.
Yeah.
Yes, Alan Jones, the head coach there, was my coach for a couple of seasons. And Also coached both Brooke Gray and Emery Donaldson.
He's put together quite the program. A lot of very talented softball players coming through that pipeline.
For sure. The 2-1 sent right back up the middle. Hammond scores. Kentucky putting something together here, passing the bat and turning the lineup over.
Yeah, now comes the question of how long are you going to let Alyssa Zabala go? You've got the 3-game series this weekend, and I think just honestly, this is not surprising. I mean, this Kentucky team, sometimes it's just a matchup game, and for some reason, there are just pitchers that teams see better, hit better, work with, more successfully, and that's what they've done, with Zabala the last few times that they've faced her, and I'm sure Louisville's plan is to have multiple pitchers get work. We've seen the bullpen for both teams be busy. There's just an opportunity here for some different matchup choices and different simulations and things that I'm sure those pitching staffs are trying to do, both these teams, with a 3-game slate to follow.
And again, off the glove of Zabala. Just a hard hit shot there by Sleeman, and it was wasn't as hard as it could have been, but just right out of the reach of Alyssa Zabala, who fields her position very well as a pitcher. She wants to go for that ball.
Well, and she does, and she should. And there's not a lot of pace on this. This is a ball that she's going to try to play, and you look at just some of the positioning of the ball, and it gets by her. And the same thing with the one that made its way to Lotus to bring up the original first and third. Sometimes you're just unlucky. It's all going to go down in the book as a single, and it looks hard hit, and maybe that evens out from something that you smoke right at somebody last week. But that'll bring out Holly April, and we're going to have a conversation, and looks like a change.
And so right on cue, we've talked about her a little bit. Her ears must have been burning. It's going to be the 2023 Kentucky Gatorade Player of the Year, Brooke Gray, taking over in the circle. We'll tell you about Brooke after these messages. Of the second, bases are loaded. Brooke Gray taking over in the circle, the junior from Louisville, Kentucky. The lefty now will face Allie Blum. With those bases loaded, all 3 of those runs will be credited to Alyssa Zabala. Zabala with 1 2/3 innings worth of work. She hands the ball over to Brooke Gray.
The biggest difference for Brooke Gray is that she is going to come at the other side of her body, right, the lefty, and she'll have that specific lefty spin, and that's really what sets her apart. It's a little bit of a different type of delivery coming from her. She'll use the curveball, also has a very good changeup that she will use as well. She throws in the low 60s, so she won't be as quick as Zabala was. Definitely a competitor. She threw 5.2 innings in that first outing against Kentucky, so has seen the Wildcats this season.
And back-to-back strikes there from Gray, evens up the count to 2-2. Looking to get her defense out of a jam here as Kentucky continues to threaten with bases loaded. Already put 2 up. This is skied into shallow center field. Chelsea Mack makes out number 3, so unable to capitalize on those bases loaded, but Kentucky does put 2 across the plate.
Yeah, it starts with the single from Maddie Clark. She's able to get the party started. Abby Hammond helps her own cause, coming up with the RBI double, and they keep rolling. Donaldson adds an RBI. Kentucky cuts the lead in half. 4-2 Louisville leading after this.
A beautiful evening here in the Derby City. A sea of red and a sea of blue here for the Battle of the Bluegrass on the ACC Network Extra. Louisville with a 4-2 lead over Kentucky. Easton Lotus makes her way to the plate to face Abby Hammond. who took over in the bottom of the first. First pitch from Hammond into Lotus in for a strike. A couple of defensive changes. When Hammond did come in, Carly Sleeman moved over to third base. Emery Donaldson then moved to center field, and Alexa Riddell bumped over to left field, flashing the bunt, pulling it back, slapping her leg, thinking I should have taken that. It was Easton Lotus, falls behind in the count, 0-2 here.
Well, we talked about that strike zone recognition. That's a rare miss from Lotus, and she knew it. But great job here pounding the zone early from Hammond, just getting ahead of these Louisville hitters.
Chopping that one foul. Count will stay at 0-2. Lotus with a single up the middle and scored a run back in the first, facing Haley Nutter, the starting pitcher for the Cats. Lone outside to Lotus. And I mean, just ice water veins, no reaction there by pitcher Hammond. Just stabs her glove out there, collects that ball, routine throw to first base. Calm, cool, and collected.
That's right, no big deal, right? That's why you have PFPs. Hammond does a great job fielding her position. Cool as a cucumber, gets that first out.
That'll bring Bree Despines to the plate to face Hammond for the first time. Despines also with a single up the middle and scoring a run back in the first. Missing inside to Despines, 1-0 the count.
And one thing we're constantly watching for at this ballpark is the movement of the flags and the wind. We get a lot of wind out there. Despines is a pull hitter. She likes to hit with power to right field. The flags indicate she might get a little bit of help if she's able to put one into the air. And sometimes you need help here. 200 down the lines, 220 in center, and a very tall outfield fence. So this is a triples park and not a home run park, even though she has staking claim to some of that right center territory.
Not the pitch she was looking for as she watches that into the glove of Ella Emmert. 1-2 the count. A little pitch comm malfunction, it looks like.
Dead battery or airport interference? What's your money on?
I did not have airport interference on my bingo card tonight, Joanna.
That's a thing. That is a thing.
The count is 1 ball, 2 strikes to Despines. Dead ball there. Clearly Despines knew that off the go.
We do have the great balloon race coming up this weekend too, but I bet there's no interference from the hot air balloons on the pitch comm, so I think we'll be okay. But
okay.
More derby events coming up this weekend. That's a family favorite.
We are officially within the 2 weeks. We had Thunder over Louisville this past weekend. That is the kickoff for 2 weeks prior, leading up to the annual Run for the Roses, the first Saturday in May, the Kentucky Derby. Flares this into foul territory.
Hammond continuing to make some good pitches here, enough that she can still challenge Despines. I'm a big believer that you keep going at the hitter. I don't understand the purpose of a waste pitch, right? You want to keep challenging and make someone hit your pitch, and that's what Hammond is doing. Another great one there. Despines holds off and gets the ball call, but I think the spot hitting right now from Hammond has been exactly what Kentucky's looking for. Despines has not had the pitch she wants to put a swing on.
The 2-2 to Despines. Down in the zone. And now a full count. Bree Despines has reached in all but one game so far this season. Did have, as we mentioned, a single up the middle earlier tonight. So in one game she hasn't reached base. Fouls this one off.
I feel like that's a great trivia question. Do you know what game it was?
Enlighten us, Joanna.
I don't. That's why I ask.
Well,
we're gonna figure that one out. That's a great trivia question. Somebody out there should win that trivia question,
right?
I think.
Phone a friend.
The Despines family.
Where's Rachel Lawson when you need her?
She knows. Full count coming again.
Another payoff. And Sleeman makes the grab for out number 2. Good at bat there for Despines.
Despines goes to get this one. Defensive swing. Sleeman playing behind the base, able to corral that. Another weak contact induced there from Hammond for the second out of the inning.
So March 13th.
I knew you'd get it.
Game 1 against Clemson. There we go. It's Cameron Luckadoo upstairs to Luckadoo. Luckadoo, a full count walk. Back in the first, scored a run. They, both Nutter and Hammond have been very careful pitching to Cameron Luckadoo.
Well, you're always going to respect the hitters that are hot at any given time, right? And you're going to have a game plan when you go into any contest on who you want to challenge and who you're going to stay away from. And Luckadoo, in her last 10 games, 75% of her hits have been for extra bases. Singles will not beat you. They just won't. But in a team that hasn't always put together those extra base hits, Louisville's been doing it at a much greater clip, and it's because of, the approach of someone like Luckadoo that's just been driving doubles like crazy, just a few shy from setting a single season record. So I don't blame I don't blame Kentucky for that. She's definitely one of the hottest hitters, and they know enough about her too that they have, I'm sure, a game plan in place.
Well, that'll bring another hot bat to the plate. Pickens with a double into left fielder last at bat and a pair of RBIs. Lines this right over the head of Clark. And Luckadoo with some speed will be held up at third. And Madison Pickens continues to see the ball like a beach ball. I mean, it is impressive, the numbers that she is putting up.
Yeah, it really is. She probably wanted Luckadoo to keep going. She's like, come on, give me a chance at another RBI. That Pickens she's in that same boat with Luckadoo. More than 50% of her hits in the last 10 games have been for extra bases. She's just on a very special clip right now. Nothing unique about this. Just a great job getting barrel to ball. Drives a gap. Louisville here threatening with 2 outs.
First pitch into Jordan Williams inside for a ball, the sophomore from Cumming, Georgia. Williams coming into this game with a 19-game hit streak. Yes, I said that correctly. 19 games straight. Jordan Williams has registered a hit, has 14 multi-hit games. The 1-1 to Williams. Over to the right-hand side and off the glove of Hamilton. That should be an E3, but it does score another run. Pretty routine backhand there for Hamilton.
Yeah, just not able to keep that in the glove, and there's no recovery time with the lefty and great speed. So Hamilton not able to make good on that after the bobble. That brings one more across from Louisville as they still threaten here with first and third.
Got the Cardinal bird dancing behind home plate umpire William Gmalik. So it's Taylor Monroe now to the plate. A single into right field, her first trip to the plate. The 1-1, flashing the bunt. And Williams advances 60 feet into scoring position. Perfect 7 for 7 on stolen bases on attempts on the season. So now the trail runner also in scoring position. So it's Pickens and Williams, third and second. 2-1 to Taylor Monroe. Misses outside, 3-1 now the count. The off speed, Monroe able to lay off. A beautiful pitch there by Hammond.
Yeah, it really was. And for Monroe, if you're not sitting on that, you have to take it. The end result is not what you're looking for. Excellent job from Hammond.
So the payoff pitch to Monroe here, inside and on the hands. Nice job there by Monroe just to foul that one off. Another payoff pitch to Taylor Monroe. Off speed again, fouled off, dead ball.
Gonna walk that one out.
Skies this to the right-hand side, under it is Hamilton. Loses it in the sun and drops it. And again, with so much speed and 2 outs, the base runners were on their horses. Both Pickens and Williams crossed the plate. And Hamilton just lost that in the sun.
And this sun is brutal in this part of the field. We know that. We've seen several miscues from teams who aren't familiar playing here, as well as Louisville athletes who have lost the ball in the sun in that area. That'll bring Coach Lawson out for a visit, but you're right. Great awareness from those base runners to just keep wheeling. You never know. Such a great lesson for young players to learn as well.
And just unfortunate errors there back-to-back by Carissa Hamilton. And again, got moved during the season into that first base position. She's a catcher.
There are so many Kentucky players in different positions, and that is part of what you see with those error numbers as they continue to climb for Kentucky. You've got 3 athletes that have played every game at a single position. You know, you've got right field, shortstop, and second base. And other than Clark and Blum and Plotz, there have been a lot of asks for people to play different spots, and it's been significant injuries. And so this Kentucky team really trying to piece some things together all year long.
And so now Louisville continues to look to continue the rally. This is Sky to the right-hand side. Speaking of Plotz, she will make the squeeze for out number 3. So Louisville able to scratch a couple back. They put 3 more on the board and lead 7-2. To to the third. It's Suzanne Bush, Joanna Lane for the Battle of the Bluegrass. Kentucky with 2 runs on 5 hits. Have put up 4 spot in that error category. Definitely something that Rachel Lawson wants cleaned up a little bit. Louisville, 7 runs on 5 hits. It's going to be Peyton Plotz, who just made the last out. The bottom of the second. Start things off here for the Cats in the top of the third. Peyton Plotz, a junior from Lexington, Kentucky. Season ago was named to the NFCA Leadoff Classic All-Tournament Team. Also named to the 2024 Freshman All-SEC Team. Has 9 multi-hit games. Skies this up and out of play. Flew out to right field her first plate appearance. The 3rd out of the 1st, facing then pitcher Alyssa Zabala. It's in the dirt from Brooke Gray, evens up the count 2-2. Got away from Gray there. Fans on this, and a punch out for Brooke Gray. First strikeout for the Cards here in the top of the third for out number 1.
Gray coming back into Plotz, working the vertical part of the zone as she brings the rise ball. Able to deliver the swing and a miss. Big out there for Louisville.
That'll bring Maddie Clark back to the plate. First pitch into Clark, in for a strike. Clark got the hitting started back in the second for the Cats. Had a single into right field and scored a run. First of those 2 put up in the top of the second, in for a strike as Brooke Gray gives a little thank you nod to Bree Despines behind the plate. Framed that up nicely. So 0-2 here to Clark. Upstairs. Beautiful day here in the Derby City, high 70s. Little check swing. Lotus collects that ball, gets it over to Luckadoo for out number 2.
And Brooke Gray showing her versatility here after finishing off Plotz with the rise ball, comes back with an off speed a little bit lower in the zone, able to induce that check swing slow roller for Lotus. Defense working here for Smouts.
So 2 quick outs, and that'll bring Carissa Hamilton to the plate for the Wildcats. Missing on the inside part of the plate. Hamilton ground out to third baseman Riley Janda back in the second. Down in the zone. Hamilton, a bit of a slump as of recently, but you know, this is a batter that is such a bright spot. Obviously, the last 10 games doesn't really justify her body of work. Did hit for the cycle back in February against Northern Illinois. It's been a mainstay in this kind of meat of the lineup for the Cats. Well ahead in the count here, 3-0. As that's across the heart of the plate for a called strike.
Hitting for the cycle is so rare. Only the second Wildcat to do it. Louisville's never had an athlete hit for the cycle. It's just tough. It is a tough thing to do. So definitely have to have a unique skill set and a really good day.
And a scorcher over to the third base side, not in time. Luckadoo doing a good job to pick that ball coming off the bag. Nice reflexes there by the hot corner Riley Janda, but not much she could do after getting that ball. Well struck ball there by Hamilton.
It was, and probably the biggest thing on that play is a Luckadoo realizing that she needs to come off the base to go get that. And that's part of her growing process at first base. A month ago, that wouldn't maybe have happened. So continuing to grow in that new position, that will save another 60 feet. And in this game, that matters.
And a beautiful first pitch change into Abby Hammond, who had a double into right center field and scored a run back in the second. One and two. Despines needs a second to walk that off. Matchup between a two-time Kentucky Gatorade Player of the Year and a one-time Kentucky Gatorade Player of the Year.
So many of these student athletes familiar with one another. The coaches obviously familiar with one another. Griffin Joyner played at Kentucky.
Well played there by Janda on the hot corner to wait for that hop to come up. So nothing doing for the Cats. We're gonna head to the bottom of the third. 9-1-2 due up for the Cards. We got 9-1-2 due up for the Cards. It's a 7-2 lead heading into the bottom of the third. Do have a defensive change to mention. True freshman from Chattanooga, Tennessee, Gabby Hensley taking over at first base for Carissa Hamilton. Riley Janda to the plate. It's the first batter to face Abby Hammond back in the first. Walked.
You talk about this group of four sophomores, Pickens and Williams and Monroe and Janda, and they've had different ways that they've gotten to where they are of contributing. But for Janda, she didn't play a lot a year ago. So for her, in a lot of ways, she is coming into this really long stretch of the season and as a sophomore, and this is where it can get really hard. There are more scouting reports. You are tired. You are probably not healthy in some way, shape, or form. You're going to get a little banged up, and this is when it's always hard for student athletes as they start to experience really the toll this type of season can take on you. And for her, it's caused, I think, her production to come down just slightly. But it'll be really interesting to see how she continues to deal with that and turn the corner. She's got a lot of ability and a lot of protection around her in the lineup. So as a leadoff here, she should see good pitches and, you know, quickly ahead in the count 3-0 as Coach Lawson comes out to have a little chat about probably just that. Hey, listen, you need to go get Riley Janda because she's going to pass the bat to Chelsea Mack, and we don't want to do that with no one out. So Janda's had a really great sophomore campaign and continuing to build on that in a variety of ways.
Well, and this was a player that, you know, to your point, Joanna, Coach Holly April talked about Janda coming in last year. Like, I want to get her into the lineup more. She's a power hitter. But really what she's brought to the plate is her defensive game. She leads the ACC in assists this season. She has been stellar on that hot corner. She gets the 4-ball walk here. And exactly what Rachel Lawson didn't want to see put aboard Riley Janda with that 4-ball walk from Abby Hammond.
Right, it almost is a given that you're going to see a bunt here. I mean, almost a given because it's Chelsea Mack's wheelhouse and it's that stereotypical situation.
Well, and you got a new first baseman. You got Hensley at first now taking over. We've seen already a defensive shift at third. Emery Donaldson taking over in center field, who got the start at third base, and now it's Carly Sleeman at third base. So got new players on the corners. That's in for a strike as you really see Sleeman coming in full force every pitch, waiting for, as you mentioned, Joanna, that bunt.
When you have to, you know, especially when the speed of Mac plus the skill set, you know, line up, that you're going to get challenged. And so you want to make sure that you have every possible opportunity. And, you know, getting to the 2-strike count here is huge because it will take, you know, that traditional bunt off the table. You can still look, if you're Chelsea Mack, to try a touch and go, something a little bit softer in nature, but that traditional bunt will no longer be in the arsenal.
Chopper up the middle, looking to turn the double play, but too much speed by Chelsea Mack. So well played there by Blum to just go ahead and step on the bag, get the lead runner, retire Janda. So Chelsea Mack reaches.
Well, if that ball is anywhere else, you're not going to have that result. You're always looking for that second hop. So Mack able to drive this into the ground, put some air underneath it. This one just expertly fielded by Blum, able to result in that fielder's choice.
And Chelsea Mack thrown out, 37 stolen bases on the season. And thrown on a dime by Emmert. We knew it was coming. Just was a matter of which pitch. Nice, well played there by Emmert behind the dish for the Cats.
Yeah, that throw was on the money. There was nothing that had to be done. That throw applied its own tag, so to speak. Gets that second quick out here for Kentucky.
That pitch in for a called strike as Lotus falls behind in the count 0-2 to Hammond here. And she strikes out looking. And how about the throw down by Emmert for out number 2? A quick 3 outs to clear the base paths. Well played defensively by the Cats, heading to the bottom of the 4th. Next. Rivalry, it's Alexa Riddell, freshman from St. Louis, facing Brooke Gray in the circle. Gray's delivery is upstairs. Sends this out of play. 1-1 the count to Riddell. Riddell, one of those stellar freshmen named to the Softball America watch list. That off speed is in for a strike for Brooke Gray. The 1-2, little, excuse me, swing. Janda fires over to Luckadoo to retire Riddell. I'll bring catcher Ella Emmert back to the plate. A single into the infield. Ricocheted off the glove of Alyssa Zabala. Right-hand side, in and on the hands, and this is Monroe this time on the left-hand side for the putout. So well played there by the shortstop. 2 quick outs for Brooke Gray, bringing Emery Donaldson to the plate. So former teammates going head-to-head here. Former high school teammates, I should say. That will be called a strike as Gamalik takes off his face mask for a minute, as I believe that ricocheted off the face of it, but doesn't even faze him. He's been around the game a long time. Occupational hazard, I do believe. Off speed. Just missing, 1-1 the count. That catches the inside part of the plate, right under the letters. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Donaldson. Stand out from right here in Louisville, Kentucky. So the 1-2. Another little excuse me swing over to Janda, little double pump. Fires over to Luckadoo and not in time. As Donaldson beats out that play.
Donaldson hustling down the line after this one is in play. Janda, it's a really long throw.
Just not enough pace on that ball, really, to get it over to Luckadoo in time. So 2 outs, 1 on. And that'll bring Carly Sleeman back to the plate. Skies this into deep center field. Chelsea Mack right in front of the warning track. Doesn't have to move a whole lot for out number 3. So a quick outing for Brooke Gray, heading to the bottom of the 4th. 3, 4, and 5 due up for the Cards next. Here of Don Dabena Field at Ulmer Stadium on the campus of the University of Louisville. Louisville with a 7-2 lead. Lots of fans taking in this great rivalry between Kentucky and Louisville. Beautiful evening to take in a game at the ballpark. Got a little dog selfie there too.
Lots of furry friends at the park.
Absolutely.
In the pregame, I think I saw some custom tennis balls. So
yes.
Giveaway to the pooches in attendance.
It'll be Bree Despines looking to get things started. She's hitting in a 640 clip in that leadoff position for the Cards. First pitch from Abby Hammond in for a strike to Despines. Just missing, 1-1.
I think the hitters are excited. They get a little reprieve from the sun. The shadows have finally stretched across their part of the field. You can see some defenders still dealing with it.
Kind of a little half swing there. Emery Donaldson able to make the grab in shallow center field, and that'll tire Despines for out number 1.
We saw that in the last half inning as well. Just a little bit slower, not as aggressive on those swings, some check swings, some weak contact. Sometimes that can, create a certain vibe. So Luckadoo here will look to reset, find a pitch that she can attack.
She hasn't been given many pitches to attack. Did get the 4-ball walk facing Abby Hammond back in the second. She's walked twice, scored both of those times. First pitch to Luckadoo. A hard hit shot to Sleeman, and how about that? Nice little spin move from Sleeman, able to fire over to Hensley for out number 2. Well played by the hot corner.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to go where the ball takes you. And if it's going to do-si-do you around the field a little bit and then go ahead and go with it. But Sleeman does a good job continuing to move with this. Sets her foot, makes a great throw. Second out here for the Cats.
That'll bring Madison Pickens to the plate, who takes that one off the Evo shield. So Pickens aboard for the 3rd time, as a pair of doubles to the left side, and now a hit by pitch. Louisville did some damage on 2 outs, scored 3 runs back in the 2nd. We're going to recreate that here in the bottom of the 4th. Jordan Williams at the plate. First pitch catching the outside part of the plate from Hammond for a called strike to Williams. Williams 0 for 2, a strikeout. Did reach on an error back in the 2nd, scored a run. Fouls this pitch off. See Williams' numbers there. The series versus Pitt this past weekend. It was a hitting clinic by the Cards. Again, all 3 of those games ending early in 5 innings.
Louisville showed through all 3 of those games just how much variety they can bring to the offense, whether it's running, whether it's balls in motion, gap-to-gap shots. They're just constantly creating chaos and producing pressure.
2-2 to Williams, waited on, fouled off. And just a nice piece of hitting there to be able to foul that off speed off.
Yeah, definitely spoiled the pitch from Hammond, and Hammond has been excellent since coming into the game. She's 0 earned runs, some defensive miscues have extended some innings for her, but 15 batters faced, she's been outstanding.
This is a well-struck ball and a well-played catch there by Emery Donaldson. And Donaldson, a product of Ballard High School, makes out number 3. And how about Ballard High School, who makes their way? They just had a 15-1 win over Sacred Heart, coming to cheer on their hometown gals here at Ulmer Stadium. On ACC Network Extra, Suzanne Bush and Joanna Lane. It's the Battle of the Bluegrass between Louisville and Kentucky. We're headed to the top of the 5th. You see Louisville's record there, 28-0 when leading after 4 innings. We're going to continue that to 29 here. As Rachel Lawson actually looked like she was on a mission coming out of the dugout here to Allie Blum, but just for a couple of claps for her sophomore. This is Sky to the right-hand side. And a little miscue there. Looked like Easton Lotus was going to go for that ball, and Jordan Williams kind of put the brakes on. Let that ball bounce in between them. And, of course, we showed the sun and how the shadows are, and that sun is directly in the eyesight of that right-hand side of the field here at Ulmer.
Yeah, this is where communication has to happen. You can tell that, neither of them have really taken control of that. Generally speaking, the infielder keeps going until the outfielder calls her off. But Kentucky with the base runner aboard to start their half of the 5th. They haven't been able to scratch anything together since the 2nd. So good opportunity for them here, seeing Brooke Gray a couple of times.
This is a well-struck ball up the middle by Peyton Plotz. And so now 2 aboard for the Cats, no outs, making way for Maddie Clark.
And Kentucky has had a few plate appearances where they have timed up pitches very well. They've had some hard hit balls, just haven't been able to string them together, haven't gotten the help from Louisville that Louisville has gotten from Kentucky. So trying to capitalize in this opportunity.
This is skied into center field. Chelsea Mack in shallow territory. Get the ball in quickly. Taylor Monroe for out number 1. Keeps Allie Blum at second. And that'll bring Gabby Hensley to the plate. Hensley, only her 14th at-bat of the season. Only has 1 hit registered so far in a Cats uniform. First pitch delivery into Hensley, in for a strike. Freshman from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Fouls this one off into the stands. Falls behind in the count, 0-2. And a swing and a miss and a punch out for Brooke Gray. So after 2 singles, 2 quick outs for the junior.
Well, and that's been the tale of Kentucky's season. Just such a hard time scoring runs. They're ranked 204th in the country for scoring. Just a little bit over 4 runs per game. Not able to scratch much across. So this opportunity is one they need to capitalize on, as they haven't been as frequent as they would like.
Just missing on the outside part of the plate to Abby Hammond. Hammond, her last time at the plate facing Brooke Gray, ground out to third baseman Riley Janda. Did have a double into right center field facing Zabala, and takes that one. I guess that was off the butt of the bat there. Skamalik says, nope, staying here. Yeah. She points to the butt of the bat there. Yeah.
Well, and Hammond didn't move.
Nope.
You kind of, sometimes you wonder if she'd have just taken off in a little jog, but there is
Could
a sound.
have fooled me, that's for sure.
Right, there is a sound difference. You can definitely tell, and you know, Despines knew right away. She pointed as well.
The 1-1 on the outside part of the plate. 2 balls, 1 strike now to Abby Hammond. So again, it's Blum and Plotz on the base path for the Cats. 2 outs here. This will be into shallow left center field. 1 will score. And a stand-up double for Hammond into left center field, and an RBI. She's just really helping her cause out there. Great 2-way player.
Yeah, definitely doing everything that she can to give this team a jump start. And this one just, you know, sails over the head of Monroe and able to plate a couple of runs. And it is really a good pitch location. Just going up to get this ball is Hammond and being aggressive. And that's where Kentucky has seen the success. When they are aggressive, when they are intentional, you know, it gives them so many more opportunities.
So that'll bring Katie Hershey to the plate. Hershey with limited at-bats, only 2 plate appearances, has been mainly used in a pinch running capacity, has scored 5 runs. No hits on the season. Freshman from New Palestine, Indiana. First pitch into Hershey, in for a strike. Pinch hitting here for Alexa Riddell. 2 on, 2 out. Cats got 1 back there. That's upstairs to Hershey. You're right about my scorebook, Joanna. Pen, poor choice. Big swing and a miss there from Hershey. 1 ball, 2 strikes now. Brooke Gray looking to get herself out of a jam here. 2 in scoring position for the Wildcats. A slow roller out of the reach of Gray and out of the reach of Monroe. And 2 will cross the plate on the slow roller. A worm burner out to center field. Nobody could get their glove on it. And how about Katie Hershey getting her first hit in a Cats uniform?
Well, sometimes it's better to be lucky, and that's what happens here. This ball is off the end cap, just where it's positioned, where Lotus was positioned. There is no play to be made to keep that ball anywhere near the infield with 2 outs on the board. Everybody is running. That's the 3rd run across from Kentucky as they cut the lead. 7-5 now for Louisville. And you go back through all of these little death by 1,000 cuts from Kentucky. They haven't been able to score on anything hit really hard, but they found a way to put a ball in play a few times against Zabala and now against Brooke Gray.
That'll bring Ella Emmert to the plate with 2 outs. And this is into left center field. And a great catch there by Madison Pickens. But Cats with an answer of their own here in the top of the 5th. Put up a 3 spot. Only trailed by 2 heading into the bottom of the 5th. It's Monroe, Venturelli, and Janda due up for Louisville. We are back. Louisville leads Kentucky by 2, 7-5 here. You see those 5 runs on 11 hits. Now coming in to the circle, it's Mackenzie Oslanzi for the Cats, taking over for Abby Hammond, who pitched stellar in her outing.
Well, when you think about Abby Hammond and what she was able to do, she ate a lot of innings with very limited contact, leading the way for Mackenzie Oslanzi to be able to come in and do her thing. You're going to see drop ball, curve ball, change up, rise ball, a little bit of everything. She's going to throw a little bit harder. She's back in that 66, 68 mile an hour range. She's going to work down for contact. Everything that you're going to see really will be down. The mixes are just to create some diversity in the vision for the hitters. Transferred from Eastern Illinois, led her team to a regional last year, played against Texas in that matchup.
Was named a season ago to the Ohio Valley Conference, or the OVC Pitcher of the Year. Still has 2 seasons of eligibility. Facing Taylor Monroe. And the revolving door at first base as Abby Hammond now takes over duties there at first. Chopper to the right-hand side. Blum over to Hammond for out number 1 to retire Taylor Monroe.
And that's what Oslanzi wants to do. She wants to deliver those ground balls and work outs that look just like that. The problem that she will get into if she gets hit hard is because she misses up. When she can keep that ball low in the zone, or she can spot that occasional rise ball or miss pitch, she does very well. But in those instances where she's able to get hit hard, it's when that ball creeps up into the upper registers of the zone, lets hitters tee off a little bit more than normal compared to her drop ball location.
Well, looking to tee off here is Ava Venturelli. She fouls that first pitch off. A little check swing. First base umpire Jeremy Morrison says nope, did not go. So 1 ball, 1 strike to Ava Venturelli, who's 0 for 1 this evening. Sends this to the right-hand side, all the way to the fence. And in time is thrown out at second base. Holly April looking at her bench to say, should I challenge that? Tells Venturelli to go back to second base and asks home plate umpire William Gamalik to take a look at this.
Well, in this situation, you're thinking, it's the bottom of the 5th, right? Maybe haven't used one, and why not take a look and see. And honestly, this ball was just played extremely well from the outfield, getting to it quickly, throwing on a dime.
And did the tag go over the foot as Venturelli slid into second base?
I think that's what you're definitely going to look at to see if there's any kind of clip of the top of the toe here. Definitely see the glove come out the other side.
I think regardless, you know, it's going to be tough to overturn here. This might be a better angle. Still kind of shielded there by Maddie Clark. So the call on the field was out. It has to be conclusive to overturn. Definitely a well-played ball by Peyton Plotz in right field.
It was, and a well-struck one from Venturelli, which I've been talking about, making sure that, you know, she finds a way to have solid contact and elevate her percentage of hard hit balls, what she's looking for in her at-bats. And we're going to find out as the umpires make their way back to the field.
So all eyes on William Gamalik. So the call will be upheld. So each coach has 1 challenge remaining, and that's what Gamalik was signaling there at the end. So we're gonna get a pinch hitter here for Riley Janda. It's gonna be Katie Thatcher, who we talked about earlier. Always being kind of that first call out for a pinch hitting capacity, the junior from Rock Falls, Illinois. It's 11 hits on the season with 10 RBIs. 35th game played. Does have 16 starts on the season. First pitch into Thatcher, in for a strike. And that misses upstairs. Thatcher 1-1, the count. Fouls this one off, and ducking Chelsea Mack, getting out of the way there. So 1 ball, 2 strikes here. The pinch hitter, Katie Thatcher, down and outside, evens up the count 2-2. Swing and a miss there, and a punch out for Oslonzi, who came in a quick 1-2-3 inning for the pitcher here in the 5th. We're gonna head to the 6th. Louisville still has a lead.
If I may be so bold.
Then you get a good look there at the Ballard High School softball team, cheering on those that also graduated from Ballard High School. Having a little Ballard matchup to get things started here in the top of the 6th. Pitcher Brooke Gray, first former Ballard teammate. Emery Donaldson at the plate. Donaldson sends this into right field. Jordan Williams doesn't have to move too much. And a 1-pitch, 1-out for Brooke Gray.
You know, Coach Jones probably feels really good about that because that's the best result you could get, right? Hit a ball well, goes right to someone, 1 pitch.
Correct.
It's always hard when you watch your former student athletes kind of face off against each other, but a lot of excitement in these games because you have so many homegrown talents here throughout the area, throughout the region, whether they're, you know, native to Louisville or Lexington or anywhere in between. This is what makes it so much fun. And I love that these two teams switched to the home and home, playing a game in Lexington earlier this year, playing here now. It's so good for softball. And softball in Kentucky is in its infancy. I mean, it's still young.
Louisville winning that game at John Kropp. First time they had won in Lexington since 2015. It was an 8-7 come from behind victory for the Cards in 9 innings. Always a battle when it's a rivalry game. Chops this foul.
He's doing a little bit of a matrix move
to
get out of the way of Sleeman there. And we are seeing Brooke Gray use the changeup a little bit more these last few batters, the last half inning.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Sleeman. Pitches upstairs, evens up the count 2-2 to the junior from Zeeland, Michigan. Sleeman, the only batter in the lineup for the Cats to face Alyssa Zabala twice. Skies this to the right-hand side in right center field. Jordan Williams will make that grab as well for out number 2 and retire Sleeman. That'll bring Allie Blum, the sophomore from New Palestine, Indiana, back to the plate. Blum 1 for 3. Last trip to the plate, did have a single into right field, scored a run, got the runs started, the scoring started in the 5th. Off speed will find the gap up the middle. Taylor Monroe able to connect with that, a diving Monroe, no less. Nice piece of hitting there from Blum. And again, the Cats looking to put something together here on 2 outs.
And just continuing to chip away. Blum goes to get this pitch, finds enough barrel to get through the infield. And not a lot of offensive plate appearances from Kentucky have resulted in.
The throw down, not in time. Smart little lazy swing there by Plotz. Try and block Despines a little bit. So Allie Blum advances 60 feet into scoring position. Her 15th stolen base of the season. 1-on-1 to Plotz. The off speed, off the glove of Janda, an absolute rocket. And Blum will cross the plate, and a stand-up double for Peyton Plotz. A scorcher off the glove of Janda. Nothing you can do with that on the hot corner.
No, that ball was hit well, and the opposite of what we just talked about, right? That they hadn't seen anything hit very hard. And we talked about Brooke Gray throwing more and more changeups, this time sitting on the changeup, being able to get that timing just right and get the barrel on that ball. And it continues Kentucky to put themselves in a position. They've cut this lead to 1, have a runner on second base, 2 outs. Louisville trying to finish this inning off.
That'll bring Maddie Clark to the plate with a runner on second. Tying run. Peyton Plotz on second base for the Cats. First pitch misses into Clark. Clark 1 for 3 tonight. All 3 of those plate appearances. This is skied into right center field, and all the way back to the fence is Chelsea Mack, and back-to-back doubles, and it's a tie ball game. A big double there for Maddie Clark. Gets a tying run across the plate. We're knotted up at 7.
Well, you knew this wasn't going to go quietly for anybody. We know what rivalry games can bring. Kentucky just continuing to swing. They've gotten a little bit more aggressive. This is a great swing from Maddie Clark. She's done this before. She started, the first time they were able to put great contact on a ball, it was her earlier this game. So it's going to bring out a change for Louisville as they try to stop the hit parade that Kentucky's put together.
That'll do it for Brooke Gray, who came in the second inning. And she'll make way for Jaden Goes in the circle for the Cards. Gray with a pair of strikeouts to finish her day. Four complete innings, 9 hits, 5 runs, all earned. It's 2 strikeouts and 21 batters faced. So now it's the true freshman, Jaden Goes from Goodrich, Michigan. Will enter the circle for the Cards.
When Goes is going to throw in the mid-60s, she will throw to all quadrants. She is much higher energy, so some of that vibe that we felt change here a little bit in the stadium, she might seek to reignite this team just a little bit with her presence in the circle. You'll see her pace a little bit more. Only 1 out to get here, so look for her to stick with her best stuff and go right at this Kentucky lineup, try to get out of the inning. And she did not face Kentucky earlier in the first matchup when they played. So a little bit of a new look, similar to what we saw with Nutter. The freshman will work for the first time here against the in-state rival.
Well, and we've seen Gabby Hensley, but now Carissa Hamilton will re-enter the game. That 5 spot in which she started. She faces Jaden Go here. Jaden Goes. 2 outs. It's Maddie Clark at second base, the base runner after a double and an RBI. And then on the hands, and what a play there by Luckadoo. You saw how far back Easton Lotus was, not going to be able to get to that ball in time, but a streaking Luckadoo able to get this 3rd out. What a play.
Cameron Luckadoo turning her athleticism into a show. Louisville ready to get out of that one and take the bats coming up next.
We are back and knotted up at 7, headed in to the bottom of the 6th. Back-to-back doubles by Peyton Plotz. And Maddie Clark getting it done, an RBI apiece there in the top of the 6th to get those 2 runs back. So back to even here. Louisville, top of the lineup up. Chelsea Mack fouls this pitch off. For 3, did reach on that fielder's choice back in the 3rd.
Well, this is right where Louisville wants to be, in the top of the lineup, but they've just gone so cold since starting the game on a tear, scoring 7 runs in those first 2 innings. Goose egg sense, and Kentucky really taking over. 14 of 32 right now. Kentucky hitting 438 to Louisville's 286. So we talked about Louisville being the hot hand, but these last several innings, they've really cooled off.
First time the top of the lineup here will face Oslanzi. Two balls, 1 strike. 2 Mack, in and on the hands. Over to Clark. Not in time. So much speed there by Chelsea Mack.
When I saw how hard Mack hit that ball, which she usually doesn't do, I thought, oh, well, that's going to be a good play.
Yeah.
And then she made it so close. Just outstanding what she can do. They'll go take a look, but I think everybody thought that was going to be an out.
Yeah.
And then as close as it was, pretty surprising. Mike Candrea, the Hall of Famer GOAT from Arizona, he would say speed doesn't slump, right? You recruit the speed. Chelsea Mack's done that all year, just giving herself a chance.
Chelsea Mack this past weekend overtook the single season stolen base record for the University of Louisville with her 36th and 37th stolen base against Pitt this past weekend. We'll take another look here at the replay. And I mean, it doesn't get any closer than that.
No, and this is where it gets really important to know what was called on the field, because this is as close as you can get.
So Mack called safe on the base path, to your point, Joanna. I think this would be a really difficult play to overturn based on the replays that we've seen and how close. I mean,
and the umpires are seeing what we have to look at it. It looks like the umpires are making their way to let us know what they think.
Getting their steps in today, that's for sure. We'll see what William Gamalik says.
And again, important to recognize that language, right? The call stands.
So Mack aboard with a single. She will pass the bat to Easton Lotus. It's 1 for 3 on the evening. Gonna lay down that bunt. Foul ball.
Given how Chelsea Mack was thrown out by Emmert last time, and how Lotus has struggled just a little bit with that outside half of the plate the last few plate appearances, you're not surprised by this call. Louisville looking to execute some short game here.
Slaps away on that one, fouls it off. Again, behind in the count here, 0-2 for Easton Lotus. Hasn't had a hit since back in the first, or a single up the middle. First time facing Mackenzie Oslanzi. The 0-2. Foul ball.
There's so much trust in Lotus, and just what everybody on the coaching staff knows about her. She's put in so much time here in the stadium, in the cages, and she loves that left field line. That's where she hit the walk-off against Indiana with 2 strikes on her as well. The count really doesn't phase her. It's just, can she get something to keep fair?
Well, this one's fair. Over to Sleeman, but advancing Chelsea Mack into scoring position nonetheless.
Yeah, and if you're Louisville, you got to get excited about that, right? Get out of the dugout, high-five her. You're moving a runner. You got to find a way to bring up that energy. Because Mack can score on a single. Like, Despines doesn't have to do much to score Mack from second base.
Out of the zone there to Bree Despines. Despines 1 for 3. Had a single up the middle, back in the first, scored a run. Was lined out to third base and flew out to center field in her other plate appearances, and a big swing there from Despines. Swansea calling time, and again, a little pitch calm, miss calm.
Swap that out. Try again.
All right, 1 ball, 1 strike to Despines. Fouls this pitch off. One out, 1 on. 1-2 count to Despines. And a called third strike, and Despines cannot believe it. And 2 outs now for the Cats, a big punch out. And I think Despines may or may not have had a case there, but nonetheless, she sits down with a called third strike, and that'll bring Cameron Luckadoo to the plate now with 2 outs. And 1 on, and again, another issue. Luckadoo lines this into center field. Chelsea Mack has the green light. It's bobbled by Donaldson. And Luckadoo, with a lot of speed, will make her way to third. She's held up there, and Louisville regains the lead as Chelsea Mack crosses the plate.
Well, it's a great job from Luckadoo to settle in and find a way to score a run. Chelsea Mack was likely going to score no matter what, but the pressure of her speed can get to you, and that's exactly what happened in center field with Donaldson. Donaldson charging this ball so hard for a chance to gun down Mack that she has it escape right underneath her glove. That lets Luckadoo get all the way to third as Louisville continues to threaten with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th.
When we saw Louisville put up a 3 spot in the bottom of the 2nd, all 3 of those runs came on 2 outs. Madison Pickens. It's 2 for 2 on the night. Swings on this, and thankfully did not hit Jordan Williams in the on-deck circle.
She's like, sorry, friend.
Pickens with a pair of doubles and was hit by a pitch. Her 3 plate appearances. Fouls this off speed off. Lives to see another one. The 1-2 to Pickens. Is a punch out, but not before a big single and an RBI from Cameron Luckadoo. gets the Cards up by 1. They lead 8-7. We're headed to the 7th. It's exciting. Looking to continue clawing back here in the 7th. It was an exciting 6th inning. A base hit from Allie Blum and back-to-back doubles from Peyton Plotz and Maddie Clark, putting 2 across the board to even up this game. They've got to get one more, at least one more here in the top of the 7th. Abby Hammond looking to help out her cause. She was stellar in the circle. She stays in the lineup. A fantastic two-way player for Rachel Lawson and staff. It's already 2 for 3 with a pair of doubles. First pitch from Goes, off speed and well outside. Hammond fouls this one off, and got an interesting look there from William Gamalik behind the plate. Where'd that come from? A little conversation between he and Bree Despines. 1 ball, 1 strike here is the count to Abby Hammond, the freshman from Lexington. That's in for a strike, a heater from Goes. Off speed. Cards faithful wanted that 3rd strike called. They didn't get it though. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Hammond. And this is lifted to the right-hand side. Williams is there. She'll make the grab for out number 1. That'll bring Alexa Riddell back to the plate, the freshman from St. Louis, Missouri. Riddell 0 for 2, flew out to short, ground out to 3rd. And this is skied into right center field. Chelsea Mack all the way back at the track. And Riddell ties it up yet again for Kentucky. As she wheels the bases, the long ball into left center field. Her 2nd home run of the season. And once again, we've got a tie ball game here at Ulmer. Only 1 out for the Cardinals defense.
I think that's a pitch that Goes would love to have back. Just too much plate on that. And kudos to Riddell for being able to barrel it up. This is a tough park to get a ball out of. She got all of that one to deep 220 and then some.
Knotted up at 8, making way for Ella Emmert to come back to the plate here. Emmert 1 for 3, a single in the infield, back in the 2nd. Ground out and flew out, 4th and the 5th. Off speed in for a strike. This is a Kentucky team that had 4 home runs against Louisville the first meeting. Janda thrown across the diamond, not in time. And so Emmert aboard.
And again, just another soft roller. That's the 16th hit of the game for Kentucky. And you would think with 16 hits, you'd have a little bit more run support. Honestly, 8 runs on the board. Louisville on the other side, 8 runs on 8 hits. But Kentucky just been small shots outside of those few doubles and obviously that long ball this inning to tie it back up.
So a little conference here after Holly April went and bended William Gamalik's ear a little bit. Again, there have been a lot of substitutions entering, re-entering by Rachel Lawson.
I think they're checking to see if there was contact with her foot. I'm playing charades with Chris Scholes next door in the booth, and I think we're gonna take a look at that. So we will see as we try to get some communication here on what they are looking at.
So did it bounce off that left shin?
And this is tough. I mean, you're gonna have to look for change of direction on the ball flight or something. If it's not seen and heard in real time, you're gonna have to see something to be able to distinguish foot or plate or just hard grounds.
Not sure that's gonna be the
Slow
angle
roll
to
at
see
first.
it.
Stewart is there to step on the bat.
Right, that third base line. Looking down might be better, but it's just so difficult. You would still have to be able to see.
No damage done. One.
Something change on the ball.
See associate head coach there, Christine Himes. Waits the decision here with Emery Donaldson. Let's see what the decision is here.
So we will continue on. The call on the field will stand. It's one out with a runner at first for Kentucky. Ella Emmert on first base.
And important to note here, that was Holly April's last review. So Louisville out of reviews. Kentucky still with one remaining. So it's Emery Donaldson, as you mentioned, Joanna, at the plate. She's 2 for 3 this evening. Pardon me, Kentucky is out of challenges as well, so no more reviews. We've had a lot tonight.
Well, you do have the umpire-initiated reviews, which are eligible to come into play at this stage of the game, but we'll see if that shows itself. Those are not as common.
1 ball, 1 strike. Back-to-back strikes there from Jaden Goes to Donaldson. Back up the middle. Looking to turn the DP, not in time, but well played there by the pitcher, Jaden Goes, getting the lead runner. Retiring Emmert at second. So Donaldson reaches yet again on a fielder's choice this time. That will turn the lineup, though. Back over to the leadoff, Carly Sleeman for the Cats. Sleeman 1 for 4. Had a single back up to the pitcher back in the second. The last batter to face Alyssa Zabala, a second before Brooke Gray came in relief. Two balls, no strikes to Sleeman. Big swing and a miss there from Sleeman. Missing outside, 3-1 the count. That's a called strike. Donaldson on that dropped ball goes ahead and swipes 60 feet.
It's a good read from Donaldson on the base paths. Seen the ball escape the grasp of Despines, advancing big 60 feet with this full count and 2 outs to Sleeman.
Payoff pitch. Chopper to the left-hand side, backhanded by Monroe in time. Retires Sleeman, but for a huge home run by Alexa Riddell ties the game. The Louisville Cardinals looking to get the go-ahead here in the bottom of the 7th. Can they bring it back yet again?
Bucks.
We are back here in the bottom of the 7th, all knotted up at 8. Jordan Williams looking to get things started for the Cards.
Pivotal part of Louisville's lineup here, 6, 7, and 8. Williams and Monroe, and then Venturelli and Janda.
And what a stab there by Oslonzi. That will retire Jordan Williams for out number 1. What a play there by the pitcher.
And Jordan Williams off balance, putting this one into play. Oslonzi reads it, able to come and get it, make a good play. Williams, a talented, threatening hitter in the lineup. That's a big first out here for Kentucky.
Taylor Monroe, 1 for 3 this evening. This is on the inside. Down in the zone there, 2-0, 3-0 the count to Monroe. And that's across the heart of the plate for a called strike. 3-1 the count to Monroe. Monroe, the first batter to face Oslonzi back in the 5th. Ground out to second base. Back-to-back strikes there for Oslonzi. Payoff pitch here Swung on up the right field line. And Monroe has the green light. Holly April will hold her up at second base. And you saw Holly April put the brakes on and then wanted Monroe to go. Held up at second base, but in scoring position now for the designated player, Eva Venturelli.
And Monroe able to squeak this one inside the line. Easy double. Can't blame coach for holding her up. We've seen Plotz make a great throw earlier this game against the base of the wall. That would have been a long one to third base. But in this situation, you've got a runner in scoring position. You're only one out. You want 2 outs to try to score her.
All right, well, we are going to step aside here. When we get back, we'll tell you about the senior from California, Sarah Hendiges, looking to close things down. California, the righty Sarah Hendiges, looking to shut things down for the Cats. Has been the go-to arm, really 106 2/3 innings worth of work for the Cats. It's really taken on the brunt of the work in the circle for Rachel Lawson and her staff. And on that dropped ball, that will advance Taylor Monroe 60 feet closer to scoring the game-winning run. She's at third base now.
Well, and again, another good read. This time it's by Louisville. Seeing the ball down, there wasn't a hesitation at all from Monroe.
1-1 to Venturelli. It's down in the zone.
And for Kentucky, Hendiges is who you want in the circle. She has been so good for them. Change up, drop ball, rise ball. The change up is her go-to. She will use it regularly.
Change up in for a strike.
It looks like that.
Right on cue.
Well, she's thrown in the World Series. She has such great experience. Just someone that has put this team on her back.
Transferred from Oregon State, and a huge punch out there from Hendiges.
And that's what the changeup can do to you. Just had Venturelli completely off balance despite being ahead in the count. Couldn't stop herself. This was bottom falling out. Not a pitch that you can hit at all.
Strikeout for out 2. It's Riley Janda at the plate. Janda 2 walks to her resume. Her 2 plate appearances. 2 straight balls to Janda. In for a strike there. 2 balls, 1 strike to Janda. Swing and a miss there. Evens up the count, 2-2. Game-winning run on third base for the Cards. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. Can the Cats force extras here? Or can Louisville walk it off? This is skied into left field. And Riddell makes the grab. We're gonna go into extras yet again between the Cards and the Cats. Second edition. We are back here on the ACC Network Extra. Suzanne Bush and Joanna Lane. You can see the result of the first edition earlier this season in Lexington. It took 9 innings to crown a champ of that game. We're gonna head to the 8th here, and we've got a new face in the circle for the Cards. Maddie Reeves, the junior transfer from Miami University in Ohio, will take the ball in the circle from Jaden Goes to get things started here in the 8th.
And for Maddie Reeves, she's going to be a little bit lower on the velo. She stays in the low 60s. She has great rise spin, and she will mix speeds. She has a lot of experience. She'll look to try to harness and leverage that in this situation in extras.
This is lined up the left field line, but it'll be foul. Hard hit shot there, being aggressive against the new pitcher Reeves in the circle. It's Allie Blum. Blum 2 for 4 tonight. And, you know, the question really coming into this game was, you know, can Kentucky manufacture some hits? Well, every single player on the roster has registered a hit in tonight's game. The 2-1 to Blum. Off speed is in for a strike. Nice looking pitch there from the junior.
When Reeves came in a big spot against Indiana through 3 innings in that game that was just similar, an absolute slugfest, lead changes.
You talked about the experience that Reeves brings in. You know, she was an All-MAC first teamer a season ago and an FCA All-Region third teamer. Led the NCAA in regular season innings pitch, had 232 strikeouts in an Miami, Ohio University. Not in time from Monroe. And a leadoff single from Blum. Getting things started for the Cats. We've seen the infield playing so deep for these Cardinals. Tough to make the play across the diamond for how deep some of the infielders are playing, those middle infielders, respecting the offense of Kentucky. That'll make way for Peyton Plotz.
Well, and really staying true to whether it's a spray chart or a pitching plan. You know, right now you can see Easton Lotus deep and so far into the 3-4 hole. You know, any double play ball.
And out at second base, thrown on a dime by Despines. And that'll remove Allie Blum from the base paths. Again, neither coach has a review left, so even though that was a close play.
Yeah, it was a great throw from Despines and great coverage from Monroe. Blum knew it too.
So now 1 out, nobody on, and that's in for a strike into Peyton Plotz. Plotz a single and a double for her 2 hits this evening. Scored a run both those times being on base, fouls this one off.
And if you're Kentucky, you're going to take some of those risks. You've been able to have base runners. You're looking at Louisville bringing the top of their lineup up in the bottom of this inning. You want on the board again. So you're not going to stop taking the risk. The way you play is the way you play.
The 2-2 to Plotz. Pulls the string, and Maddie Reeves gets the strikeout for out number 2. Sits down Peyton Plotz.
And this is when Reeves is at her best. You can see the ball just absolutely drop into the zone. Plotz was frozen in place, and that's what that good off speed can do to you.
Now it's Maddie Clark to the plate. First pitch, in for a strike to Clark.
Coach Joyner likes the back-to-back changeups. I wonder where she learned that. I think it's from the other dugout.
We haven't even had a chance to talk about Griffin Joyner and her time in a Kentucky jersey, but I mean, the tangled webs these two teams weave.
It is very true. The longtime assistant with Coach April and the standout at Kentucky for Coach Lawson.
This is lined into left field. A hard hit shot there by Clark. And a great throw there from Pickens, getting it into Lotus, keeping Clark at bay at first.
Well, Clark's had an outstanding day. She singled in the second, she doubled in the sixth. I mean, she's hit the ball hard. Even the ground balls that she's put into play. She's been consistent on the base paths for Kentucky tonight. Giving them a chance here with 2 outs.
A heater into Carissa Hamilton for a called strike. That one's in the dirt.
Great block back there from Despines, keeping that in front of her, forcing Maddie Clark to stay close at first base.
Majority of Cats runs coming on 2 outs. So looking to extend that. As this is chopped foul. And that's in the dirt. And a lot of speed here by Clark as she'll get all the way to third. The throw's not in time. She had the green light all the way from first base as she saw this ball trickle away from Despines.
And it's less of a trickle and more of a shot.
Yeah,
I mean,
that too.
It came off so far. Despines didn't have a chance to corral this. Goes off the shin guard and in the other direction. Just an unlucky bounce. Clark paying attention and wheeling.
And now full count to Hamilton. You've got speed on third base for the Cats. Over to Monroe at shortstop, fires over to Luckadoo for out number 3. So unable to utilize the speed of Clark to cross the plate. We're gonna head to the bottom of the 8th, tied up at 8. Top of the order due up for the Cards. You see the record in extra innings between these two squads. Louisville with the advantage there. Comeback Cards looking to make it here in the bottom of the 8th. It's Chelsea Mack looking to get things started for the Cards. Flashes the bunt, pulls it back. That one misses upstairs. Sarah Hendigas now in the circle for the Cats. 4th arm used for late Rachel Lawson. That's in for a strike. Back-to-back strikes taken. Mack not making contact.
And that pitch location has just given this Louisville team fits most of the night. When the Kentucky pitchers have been able to hit that spot, they've been rewarded with that strike call from the home plate umpire and haven't made an adjustment on it. Specifically the short gamers. It's gotten Lotus a couple of times as well. It's gotten Despines once.
The 2-2 to Mack. It's fouled off.
And there's the adjustment. And you might just have to spoil it and see if Hindegis can come back with a changeup or something else that you can make work. But you've got to guard against that outside pitch. We've just seen it been called too many times today to take it.
Over to the left-hand side, Sleeman fires over. Able to get the speedy Mac at first for out number 1.
Yeah, Sleeman spent much of her career as a catcher, has an outstanding arm. You can see this just velocity on this ball. She was not gonna let Mac outrun that one as they retire the first out.
That'll bring Easton Lotus to the plate. Lotus takes pitch number 1 for a called strike. If you're Rachel Lawson, you're seeing this outside part of the plate getting called, and Louisville's lineup getting frustrated with that call. So
for sure, she's been seeing it since the second inning.
Yeah.
And for Lotus, when she makes the adjustment, she will occasionally lose her foot into the river or in front of home plate. And so you have to be very careful to keep feet in the box as she makes an adjustment to really try to corral that outside pitch. She hits it well. She's got great bat whip. She's able to really control the barrel. She can hit for extra bases, but sometimes she will overcompensate with her feet.
didn't get the call on the outside plate, or just outside of the plate that time. It's in for a strike. Full count now. Payoff pitch to Lotus. Foul. The left field line, giving chase. Alexa Riddell. Another payoff pitch to Lotus, swung on, and again, fouled out of play this time. Quite the battle here between Hindegis and Lotus. So with that, Easton Lotus will be sat down.
And that's what we were talking about with that foot. And you have home plate umpire Bill Gama telling it right off of the gate. She can see the foot come out in front. It's gotten her a few times this season.
So now 2 outs. As that sends Easton Lotus to the dugout. Foul tip there. For strike 1, it's Bree Despines. One for 4. That off speed in for a strike as Hindegis works ahead in the count. 0-2. Well outside. And struck out looking. That'll be a 1-2-3 outing for Sarah Hindegis. We're gonna go to the 9th. Tied up at 8.
Excuse the tardy Battle of the Bluegrass.
Yeah.
Was
Let's go. I'll sign off on that.
Yeah, why not, right?
It's Abby Hammond, the two-way player for the Cats. Off speed, catching the outside part of the plate for a called strike. Over to Monroe. Monroe to Luckadoo. That'll sit down Abby Hammond for out number one. That'll bring Alexa Riddell to the plate, who had the solo home run. She finds the gap in the left-hand side, 5'6" gapper. Alexa Riddell having herself a day, 3 for 5 in her plate appearances.
Just a good job being aggressive here, and Kentucky has talked about that all year long, how they are so much better when they're aggressive. So find a pitch early in the count that you think you can do damage with, or at least hit well. Give yourself and your team a chance.
I'll bring Ella Emmert to the plate. That's in for a strike. Emmert 2 for 4. A chopper to the left-hand side. Janda still able to collect that with her glove. Fires over to Luckadoo. Does advance Riddell 60 feet over into scoring position, but 2 outs now.
And Janda got a great bounce off this. It's an assist to herself, right? It's like a 5-5-3.
I'll bring Emery Donaldson to the plate. Riddell in scoring position for the Cats. That's in for a called strike. Off speed into shallow center field, but Chelsea Mack able to cover so much ground, able to make that third out squeeze. All right, so it comes down again. Can Louisville walk it off in the ninth? We'll find out next.
There are a lot of crooked numbers up on the scoreboard.
Oh my goodness.
We can make up for any missed math homework by having you solve for current team slugging percentage.
Again, kind of like you volunteering me to be the home plate umpire. I'm going to politely decline that one as well. Missing on the outside, part of the plate to Cameron Luckadoo.
Luckadoo with that big single and RBI in the 6th to extend this game.
Well, that's in for a strike from Hendigas. Luckadoo, the 6th batter faced. See Luckadoo having a few words there with home plate umpire William Mullick. The 1-1 to Luckadoo. Down in the zone. Two balls, one strike. Misses outside. 3-1 now to Luckadoo. And the 3-1 is inside. And Luckadoo, her third free pass via base on balls. She's aboard. She's scored both those times that she has walked. Looking to make it a third. That'll bring the RBI leader, Madison Pickens, to the plate with no outs. Cameron Luckadoo, speed on first base. First pitch into Pickens is a strike. Pickens got her 63rd and 64th RBI back in the first with a double into left field. We're gonna bunt that ball and just foul. Almost looked like Sleeman was close to touching that ball.
As if there was any question on which side of the plate that pitch was going to go to. You can see this view down the line, clearly foul, even if Sleeman would have been able to glove that.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Pickens. Fouls this inside pitch off and into the dugout of the Wildcats.
Self-defense there from Pickens. Just I'm not going down like that, right? You're just gonna find a way just to keep fouling something off.
And again, an identical pitch. Again to the mouth of the dugout for the Cats.
Well, we've talked about what a great season she has had. And in those seasons, they're not accidental. They're born out of skill and preparation, sure, but they're also from mentality. And sometimes your mentality just has to be, not today, ball. And you just keep going and foul it off, and eventually someone will win a battle.
Another 1 and 2. And 3 for 3 for the mouth of the dugout of the Cats here.
We talked about those waste pitches earlier, and right now is when you use one, whether that's a changeup that might not be in the zone or a couple balls off the other side, just like that, because you want to break the cadence, right? You don't want to let Pickens stay in that rhythm.
The 2 and 2 to Pickens. Skied into shallow center field right at the grass. It's Maddie Clark making the grab. And a good battle, but Hendigas wins it for the first out here. Jordan Williams still looking for her first hit. Catching the outside part of the plate for Hendigas for a called strike. This is skied into center field. Routine play there for Donaldson. And 2 quick outs here for Sarah Hendigas and squad. Now it's Taylor Monroe to the plate. Fifth plate appearance, 2 for 4. Well inside to Monroe.
That is a difference we've seen with Luckadoo, with Monroe. The right-handed hitters haven't been called on that pitch at the same rate that the lefties have.
Ella Emmert wants to have a quick word with Sarah Hendigas.
Ella Emmert's someone you really can't brag on her leadership enough. She's been so great filling in at a catcher position that maybe wasn't expected to see as many innings in. And, as a side note, she's also a student athlete representative on the Division I softball oversight committee, and she's just been outstanding. The work that she's put in, the preparation that she's put in for those meetings. Student athletes everywhere should be proud of the voice that she has given them in that setting.
Also a representative for the SAC for UK, as well as Student Athletic Committee. 2 balls, 1 strike for Taylor Monroe. 2 outs here. Cameron Luckadoo on first base for the Cards. The tension is palpable, friends. 3 balls, 1 strike. That's in for a strike. So payoff pitch coming here in the bottom of the 9th. 2 outs, 1 on. Full count here to Taylor Monroe. Payoff from Hendiges in and on the hands and fouled off. We live to see another pitch. And this is sent up the middle. And not in time. What a web gem, though, by Maddie Clark. I mean, you got to give her credit for the effort there for the shortstop.
It was an outstanding defensive play. I thought Clark had the out, and this is going to be one of those instances where the challenge will come back into play and you don't have one. So Coach Lawson will ask the umpires to come together and take a look. Umpire challenges can come into play if and only if an umpire is out of position or they feel they didn't have the look they needed. But any other situation, the umpire challenge is not meant to be used as a substitute for a coach's challenge. I do believe the coaches have one, though, when they reach extra innings, right? I do think they are given one more.
So the call in the field was that Luckadoo was safe at second base. And an extended conversation here between home plate umpire William Gamalik and head coach Rachel Lawson, but she will make her way back to the dugout. So 2 out, 2 on. So it's Luckadoo and Monroe aboard for the designated player, Ava Venturelli. Venturelli 1 for 3 in her plate appearances so far this evening. Struck out the first time. She was the first batter to face Hendiges in the 7th. Struck out in that at-bat. Does have a single to right field to her resume this evening. Skies this out of play. And pulls the string there. Hendiges did. Gets Ava Venturelli swinging. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Just an outstanding changeup.
1 and 2 is well outside. Evens up the count. A little deuces wild here in the bottom of the 9th.
And I will clarify, there are no additional reviews and extra innings. They just carry through the entirety of the game. So no extras like you see in other sports.
2 and 2. In and on the hands, fouled off. Dead ball there. Yet another 2 and 2 to Venturelli, fouled off. And Hendig gets fired up as Venturelli sent back to the dugout. Striking out, looking. We're going to double digits to the 10th. We go between the Cats and the Cards. What a rivalry game. Has entered the chat, getting that 25th ranking. The ESPN poll. Well, we knew it was going to be a battle, Joanna. The first edition of this game between these two squads a month ago went into extras, and Sleeman with a single up the middle, a chopper over the glove of Maddie Reeves to get things started for the Cats.
Kentucky finding a way to get that lead-off hitter aboard. These teams are trading punches, and that's the 20th hit for Kentucky. That ties a program record that they had reached against UC Santa Barbara in 2022. So Kentucky will look to add one more and break that.
So re-entering the game now after a very long break. It's the starter, Alyssa Zabala, coming back into the circle after that leadoff single from Sleeman.
It's probably been, what, 2 hours since she's thrown, give or take?
We are going on close to 3.5 hours now.
Yeah, I mean, it's been maybe 2.5. I mean, there's been a significant layoff to come back in.
So while Zabala is getting warmed up, head coach Holly April comes out to have a word with the infield. They need some of those excusal forms as well.
I think they're going to be just fine. There's no energy like kid energy. Just a reminder for Zabala, she's going to throw in the mid-60s. She'll go to all quadrants. She is truly the heartbeat of this pitching staff. She is the ace. She's been leading the program for several years now. Will work east to west as well as a rise ball. A changeup is the difference maker for her if it is on. Didn't have a changeup until coming to Louisville, so it's relatively new in her arsenal. Has gotten a little bit better every year with that pitch.
She faces Allie Blum, who lays the bunt down. Luckadoo fires over to Lotus, covering first base, and a quick throw down to Taylor Monroe covering second base.
Luckadoo did a great job fielding that bunt of pinching the lane, going back to the middle of the field. So often, bunts that have a little bit of extra pace on them like that can escape between the first baseman and the pitcher, but by coming to the middle of the field, she's able to protect against that. Very athletic, gets the out to Lotus.
First pitch into Peyton Plotz misses. This pitch is fouled off here. Plotz 2 for 5. It's a single and a double. Flew out to right field in her lone plate appearance facing the starter, Alyssa Zabala. So second time. And this is drilled into right field all the way. One hop to the fence. And Sleeman crosses the plate, a huge triple. And puts Kentucky ahead here in the 10th.
Well, and that record-setting hit from Plotz will change the books on how many hits they've had in a single game, but it also just ignites her offense, taking this all the way to the wall, has the wheels. This park is big to turn that into a triple, but most importantly, plates the leadoff hitter Sleeman and gives Kentucky the lead.
So still threatening here, the Cats are. So that was just a matchup for Alyssa Zabala. Peyton Plotz winning that matchup, and that'll make way for Anna Wise, it looks like, to come in. The fifth arm for the Cards. So we will step aside here. When we get back, we'll tell you more about Anna Wise, the sophomore from Brecksville, Ohio. And we are back here in the top of the 10th. Kentucky getting the go-ahead run. Big triple from Peyton Plotz. Scored Carly Sleeman. That'll retire Alyssa Zabala from the game completely and bring in Anna Wise into the circle. The fifth arm used by Holly April and staff. Another lefty for the Cards. First pitch for Maddie Clark is in for a strike.
And I thought Wise would be who we would see when Reeves was lifted. So a little bit of a surprise going to Zabala for me anyway. So a different look here for Clark. Clark's had an outstanding day at the plate. She's seen the ball very well.
Clark 3 for 5. Pair of singles and a double, did score a run back in the second.
Had that crucial RBI in the sixth.
Three balls, one strike to Maddie Clark. Dead ball there as it ricochets off Clark in the batter's box.
You know, for Kentucky to come out here and put up 21 hits and 9 runs, this is huge for them. They've had such a hard time with their conference schedule. They only have 3 games left. They have a bye that last week of the season.
A chopper up the middle will score. Peyton Plotz, and another insurance run crosses the plate for Kentucky.
Just really big for Kentucky. They're in a tough spot with the win-loss record and postseason opportunities. So being able to give themselves a chance here.
First time all game long that Kentucky has been in the lead. The throw down to second base is well off target. Easton Lotus read that off the hand, out of the hand of Despines. Just floats that. Carissa Hamilton 1 for 4. Skies this into center field. And in the deepest part of the park, on the second tier of the berm, Hamilton comes alive, a 2-run home run, and Kentucky has broke this open.
Yeah, Hamilton got every bit of this one, and Kentucky's piling it on now, really finding their stride. Just does an outstanding job Stays stacked through that entire swing. Everybody knew it. Chelsea Mack knew it.
Hamilton now with double digits. That was her 10th home run of the season. She had 2 home runs in the first matchup against Louisville at the end of March. A no-doubter there. And Kentucky puts up a big crooked number here in the top of the 4th, the top of the 10th. You told me I had to do math, Joanna. It's been a long 3.5-hour softball game here. No more math. Over to Monroe. Monroe to Luckadoo for out number 2. That'll retire Hammond. Alexa Riddell, who had a home run of her own. Solo shot in the 7th to tie the game up. Send us into extras. It's been a bunch of zeros since then until top of the 10th here. And the hit parade continues. A one-hopper off the glove of Chelsea Mack all the way back to the fence. And Riddell will stay at second base. And the Cats continue to pass the bats.
Alexa Riddell got a lot of that one too, and she's had an equally as good of a day. You can just see her barrel this up, drive through it. Rare miscue off the glove of Mack. Deep enough in the outfield that could have been a double anyway, but uncharacteristic bobble from the center fielder.
First pitch into Ella Emmert in for a strike. 24 hits for the Cats. Well inside. 1-1 the count to Emmert. It's 2 for 5 tonight. It's a pair of singles. Down in the zone. Nice job by Bree Despines behind the plate to trap that ball.
And we said really early tonight that you just don't know what you're going to get with these contests, the rivalry games. You can throw everything out the window, but I don't think anybody had 12 runs on 24 hits and 5 errors for Kentucky tonight. They've played through quite a bit of adversity, and that's been really the story of their season. I mean, they've had the 14th most difficult strength of schedule of anyone in the country. They have been just tested by Oklahoma, Alabama, Texas A&M, I mean, Tennessee, you name it, they've had them on their schedule. So they're used to it. They're used to being in these situations.
No real play as Taylor Monroe backed almost to the grass. It's been a really tough play to make. So now runners at the corners for the Cats. And yeah, you know, Joanna, to your point, you look at Kentucky's overall body of work. They're sitting at 500 coming into this game, 1-20 in SEC play. But I mean, the teams you just mentioned, I mean, it's a gauntlet. You gotta, you know, you haven't won since in SEC play since Auburn, your opening series.
Yep, and the difficulty of schedules make or break your season sometimes, and this is really a tale of two. You can see the teams that Kentucky has had to play. They got that initial win with Auburn, and then Florida, Texas A&M, Georgia, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Alabama, and oh, by the way, in 48 hours, you're going to play Texas. So it's
no big deal.
No big deal, right? And it's hard, and you sign up for it. It's what you want. The SEC is a gauntlet, and they are very, very good, but at the same time, there are choices that you have to make so much early in the season to protect yourself against that slate of games that's inevitable.
And just foul. It's like dominoes over there on the left field line. Alexa Riddell getting out of the way, as was Larry McCullough, third base umpire. Christine Himes almost got trucked.
I think she can hold her own.
I don't disagree. Oh, pulled the string. A beautiful pitch there by Anna Wise. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Donaldson. Donaldson 2 for 5. Everybody in top to bottom, 1 through 9 in the multi-hit category for the Cats. Comprising that 25 total hits. The 2-2. Well outside. Full count now. Back to Wise. Wise over to Luckadoo. Finally for the third out for the Cards defense. Louisville's got to put up a crooked number of their own if they want to extend this. They trail by 4, headed into the bottom of the 10th.
Their at-bats, they're going to be a little disappointed in the way that they approached the hittable pitches. They just seemed like they weren't being as intentional and as aggressive as they were in those first 2 innings. And it makes a big difference when you can put good swings, aggressive swings on those good pitches. That's what this team has been known to do. Create opportunities for yourself, create some chaos, and they just really hit that lull in the middle of the game and haven't been able to get it back.
Hendigas working ahead in the count here, 0-2 to Riley Janda. As you mentioned, coming up next, Kentucky will host number 5 Texas. Louisville, on the other hand, will host Syracuse for their final home series. Joanna Lane and I will be along for the call for those final 3 home games. As the Cards close out their home stand and head on the road, they still have NC State at NC State. They've already clinched their spot in the ACC tournament in the University of Virginia. And actually, Kentucky will host the SEC tournament for the first time since 2013 when John Kropp opened. This is lined left field, but it's foul ball. All 15 teams in the SEC will make it to Lexington for that SEC tournament. Only 12 teams on the flip side make it to Charlottesville in Virginia for the ACC. 1-2 to Janda, is off speed, gets her swinging. Huge punch out there for Hendigas.
I think Hendigas has been absolutely outstanding.
Absolutely
That's
outstanding.
officially the 3-inning pitch mark because she came in at a middle of the inning, but she has allowed 1 hit over those 3 innings. She has 5 strikeouts, 1 walk. She's faced 11 batters, 64 pitches. I mean, she's just been outstanding. And really, this entire Kentucky pitching staff, I know they feel like they have just been piecing things together, but they got some truly great performances today by a few arms. And that's got to bode well for them.
Chelsea Mack, senior from Ohio, back to face Hendigas again. Low and outside to Mack.
And with the recent announcement of the SEC tournament going to Huntsville, this will be the last really on-campus site. Kentucky purposefully given that bye the last weekend of the tournament to transform their facility. We're going to get a lot of shipments here very soon. Always a first-class event, that tournament.
Crosses the outside part of the plate, evens up the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Chelsea Mack, who's 1 for 5 tonight. Did have a single. 6, then drills this up the center. Right back where it was pitched from, and Mack aboard, looking to spur along her cards here.
Yeah, I don't think this team's going quietly. They've done too many of these all year long. They know what's up, and Chelsea Mack has to have a big exhale there, finally breaking through, able to put something in play that's out of reach for the defenders.
On Big Ten Plus. Schwartz did as well. Here's the payoff. Hit in the air.
Mack speedy on the base path was thrown out earlier. Chopper to the left-hand side and over the head of Sleeman. And the Cards looking to string something together here. 2 on, only 1 out, bringing Bree Despines to the plate.
Lotus finally gets the ball she wants, and you're forced to play that outside pitch that has not been your friend. Do the best you can and drop that bat head on it, right? And she takes the end cap directly into the top half of that ball, gets some vertical air underneath it, and with her speed, anytime you can get a bounce that high, you're going to be safe, let alone one that skirts its way on into the outfield. So 2 very quick runners aboard for Louisville, 1 out here. Coach Lawson is done imparting her wisdom.
Looks like we've got an extra ball on the field. So 2 on, 1 out. Bree Despines at the plate.
Wake up, Coach Sabatella.
Yeah, Brian Sabatella, the hitting coach for the Cards. She says, thanks, Coach. Here you go. Destiny's 1 for 5. Didn't have a single up the middle. That was back in the first. Almost an identical pitch, but just a little more outside on that. Was Hendigas just painting the outside corner to those lefties. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Despines. Swings on this, sky to center field, and everybody will hold up as Donaldson makes that grab for out number 2. So Kentucky 1 out away here. Looking to return the favor. The Cards went into Lexington, earned the win back at the end of March. Kentucky looking to come here to Louisville, take home the win. Back to Lexington, and some good momentum moving into one more SEC series and SEC tournament play. Nice pitch there by Hendigas. And off the glove of Emmert, so both the runners will advance 60 feet into scoring position. Sent foul here. Evens up the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Cameron Lacadou. And Hendigas 1 strike away from willing her Cats to a win here at Ulmer. 2-2 as well outside. So the tension continues to build here. Payoff pitch to Cameron Lockadoo. Sky to the left-hand side. That was just a tough ball. I mean, absolute sky high. Sleeman unable to find that ball in the lights.
Yep, overran that one and just in such a hurry to try to beat it to its spot. That ball hung up and circled back a little bit. A lot of spin on that.
Lockadoo settles back in here. Another payoff pitch from Hendiges. Smoked it, but well foul. And Lockadoo, patience at the plate, gets the walk. Her fourth walk of the game. Bases now are loaded. Bringing the RBI leader for the Cards to the plate. 64 RBIs. Tacked on 2 more earlier in this game. To her tally, first pitch from Hendiges in for a strike. Pickens 2 for 4. It's a pair of doubles. Skies this into shallow center field, and Kentucky with that catch by Emery Donaldson wins the battle of the Bluegrass. And Joanna, a battle it was.
Well, Kentucky did a great job of finding offense throughout the lineup, but you've got to really give credit to 2 pitchers. Hendiges and Hammond did an outstanding job. They were also buoyed by Oslancy. Those were just outstanding performances. They've been searching for some of that in the circle, and Kentucky has some momentum heading in to their final series with Texas. For Louisville, they've got to get back on it, right? They've got a big series coming up. They're still in a position to make a push to win the ACC, something that nobody would have expected in February, and they've still got a lot to play for.
25 hits UK uses to win the Battle of the Bluegrass here in the 10th. So with that, on behalf of my entire production crew, my partner Joanna Lane, I'm Suzanne Bush saying so long. UK wins it in 10, 12-8 over Louisville. Have a good evening.